Today we'll be covering three key elements in our presentation. Why Zoho Payments? Because, I mean, you have a lot of options, right, when it comes to payment gateway. So why would somebody want to choose Zoho Payments? So that's what we'll be talking about. The core capabilities of Zoho Payments, and of course, a full-fledged product demonstration of Zoho Payments as well. A quick history. 17 years back, Zoho Invoice was started. Uh, that was the first stepping stone for finance and operations product suite. So as you see across all of the years, close to 2 decades, we've built multiple products. And there's one thing that's common across all of these is the payment touch point. And we've always relied on third-party payment gateway services. I'm sure most of you here use third-party gateways. How many of you actually use payment gateways to collect payments online? Okay, that's close to 80% of you, right? So I'm sure you would be using various payment gateways like Stripe, Authorize.net, Forte, various other payment gateways. And I'm sure there's a disjoint experience that happens because of that. And that's what we are here to solve. And there's much more to what Zoho Payments can offer. So we're launching Zoho Payments. We launched it yesterday. And this session is purely to talk about Zoho Payments, give you a walkthrough and all of that. So there we are, Zoho Payments, our very own payment gateway. And what Zoho Payments does, it helps businesses to accept payments, right? So quickly, why Zoho Payments? When it comes to payment gateway, payment success rate is very important, right? With Zoho Payments, our payment success rates are much higher than industry standard and one of the leading in terms of payment success rates. We've built in multiple solutions in the back end to make sure that your payment success rates are at the highest. Think of it like network tokens or account updaters, all of that to make sure that these are made available within the product solution. You may ask what these are. I'll give an example. Think of it like this. Let's say all your customers are given credit cards, debit cards. They all come with a specific period, right? Expiration date. So let's say 4 years from now. What happens if these customers forget to renew their cards or the renewed cards are updated onto your platform, right? That becomes a churn. It becomes a failed payment. We take care of all of that because we store the card credentials with the networks. So as and when the card gets renewed, the subscription keeps going through. So the customers don't actually have to manually give in their updated card details, but everything is completely automated. So this is one small example about payment success rate. So like this, there are better reasons as to why somebody would want to use Zoho Payments. When it comes to fraud and risk detection, we've got a whole system that's working at the back end. You might not see it in the front, but a lot of things are going in the back end to make sure we mitigate the risk in fraud. If there is any sort of fraudulent transaction that comes through, we automatically block the transactions, make sure that does not happen. And even though there are certain transactions that happens through, let's say, a stolen card, or in spite of doing a CVV check, zip code verification, across all of that, every transaction comes with a risk score. It comes with a potential fraudulent alert if there is any. So it gives you an entire focus on your fraud and risk detection, helps you to save any sort of chargebacks or disputes that you may encounter. We understand businesses need faster settlements. We support that. The default one is T+2 for cards and T+4 for ACH. But for businesses that require faster settlements, similar to, let's say, same-day settlements or instant settlements, we provide that as well. Of course, this goes through certain underwriting processes, but this is, again, available for businesses. And the best part, Zoho Payments is built for Zoho's products. So irrespective of whether you're using Zoho Finance apps or any other Zoho solution, they're integrated together. So collection of payments is much more easier. Let me give you another example over here. Most of you would have created a merchant account with third-party payment solutions. So you would have to go there, create a merchant account, wait for the account to get approved, come back into the Zoho solution, key in those details, and then start collecting payments. Again, these are two different systems. Imagine what happens if you encounter an issue. I'm sure most of you have. And I've myself spoken to customers where they've actually, let's say they're on one payment gateway and they're using Zoho Books, but for some reason, when the transaction gets failed, they would have to get both our support teams on calls together, and it's a nightmare. I'm sure it's a nightmare for both of you, all of us. And the best part of Zoho Payments is one single support, irrespective of what payment gateway. I mean, if you're using Zoho Payments and whatever Zoho products you use, it's one single support. We debug any sort of payment related issues with one call. Yeah. And that's the power of Zoho ecosystem, the power of integrated solution, unified support, all of that. And because Zoho has multiple other solutions available, it not only helps you to collect payments by sending in a link, but invoice payments, your client portal payments, your e-commerce payments, or any ad hoc hosted page payments across all of these can be taken care of. When it comes to reconciliation, right from raising an invoice or an estimate to collecting a payment and marking that invoice as paid, and also trying to find out what the fee structure is for individual payments, and also mapping that to the banking reconciliation, all of that is automated. So I know I've told a lot about this, but I'll walk you through all of those through the product demonstration. And of course, with the help of our reporting capability, you have complete visibility of what's happening within your business, what are the fraud detections that have happened, when is your payout done, everything, everything. So I'll quickly jump into the core capabilities of Zoho Payments. Everybody wants to collect payments, I understand, and you might have customers outside of the United States. So what we do is we support businesses in the US, but we help them to collect payments across the globe. So we support in 135 plus currencies, and whatever currency it may be. Well, let's say you're billing somebody in UK, you might bill them in GBP, and that money is transferred to your US bank account and settled in US dollars, and the conversion and everything is taken care of by us. So irrespective of which currency that you want to bill them, it's already taken care. We support cards, we support ACH, two different payment methods, ready to be started from day one. And this is the fraud management that I was talking to you about, right? So if you see here, we have a risk assessment score. This is available for every transaction. So this is, again, a lot goes in the back end to make sure that this risk score is given to the customer, so that if the risk score is a little high, you can be sure that this could be a fraudulent transaction, or there's a potential for chargebacks in the future. And if you see the screenshot, it basically says that, this particular transaction, while it did pass through and has a 40% risk, 48% risk rating, it says that this card was reported stolen. So as soon as somebody is reported the card stolen, we immediately show that to you over here. So before the money gets settled, you can actually choose to refund that, so that there's no disputes that gets raised and you don't have to ship your products. Because what happens if you get a transaction that is through a stolen card, you ship the product and you also get a dispute, you lose two things, right? We can mitigate all of that. And that's the power of integrated solutions, readily available with a lot of information right within the application. When it comes to dispute management, Zoho does facilitate and help businesses in managing the disputes. So if by any chance there's a dispute that gets raised for your transactions, you can always reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to assist you, tell you what are the kind of documents that typically these issuing banks and card networks require for you to get the disputes. Our dispute management system gives you a detailed status update on what the status is, by when you can file the dispute, what are the documentation that is required. So all of that is available within the system. When it comes to settlements and payouts, like I said, cards T+2, T+4 for ACH. And you can also schedule these payout cycle as per your business preference, because there are a lot of businesses that require settlements on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. So that it's just much more easier for them to reconcile, right? So you could set them up as per your cycle and get that going. So this is pretty much what the payouts structure is. So we've seen payment collections, fraud, payouts, but what are the benefits of the Zoho ecosystem, right? So Zoho Payments is tightly integrated across all the finance suite of application. And through Zoho Checkout, it integrates with all the other Zoho applications. So think of it like Backstage. So sure, this event, all of you did ticket bookings for Backstage. Backstage is powered by Zoho Checkout and in turn Zoho Payments. So if you have a ticketing company, you could use Backstage. If you want to have bookings done and collect payments for that, Zoho booking integration works as well. So a unified ecosystem that gives you payment collection across multiple products. Integrated payment workflows is what I mentioned, where you have multiple channels through which you can start collecting payments. So if your business needs to send invoice and then collect payments, or if your business is up to collecting ad hoc payments by generating a payment link, or you have your own website and you want to embed this on your website and start collecting payments, come what may, we've got that covered. And one interesting thing is Zoho Payments is not a product just for Zoho customers. So if you're not using any of the Zoho Finance apps, you will still use Zoho Payments to collect payments. So all you have to do is sign up, use our APIs, integrate that onto your website, and start collecting payments. So you don't require any of the Zoho solution as well. To just start with Zoho Payments and get started in collecting payment solution. I've talked a lot about the product, engineering, everything. While we are an engineering focused company, but we also rely and we also want to make sure we are heavily compliant as well. And payments is something that we're venturing into and we are heavily invested into compliance. So whether it's PCI compliance, which is level 1 certified, which is the highest standard for PCI compliance, or your card network compliance, we cater to all of these. We in fact file your 1099-K reports to the IRS so that you don't have to worry about all of that. And we give you the reports at the end of the year. So that will help you in reconciliation. So this is pretty much what I wanted to talk about, from core capabilities, compliance, and so on. So, and I will quickly get into a demo of the product. I'm sure since most of you have not seen Zoho Payments, I'll quickly get into the demo. I'll show you how the onboarding phases and how the payment collection and everything works. Yeah, great. So I've taken Zoho Books as an example right now. And if you see here on the LHS, we have Zoho Payments. It's again uh, available within all finance apps. It's built closely together. All you have to do is click on Setup Now, and the onboarding page opens up. The onboarding page is a little, we collect all these information for our KYC, KYB process. This is as part of our compliance. So whenever we give you a payment gateway solution, you are required. I'm sure most of you would have gone through this, but you can get started by choosing your business type, what type of business structure that you're in, whether it's a single member, LLC, private corporation, whatever it may be. You can give in your EIN details, industry type, your business address, and so on. And if you have your website, you could provide that as well. Or if you don't, so we collect all of these information. One thing to note is if you can elaborate on the business description as much as possible so that it's easier for us to do the underwriting. Because once you fill up these details, the data goes to our underwriting team. They approve your account within 1 or 2 business days, and you're ready to start collecting payments. We collect a bunch of more information like your payment fulfillment details, like your average transaction size, your turnover, order fulfillment type, whether you're selling goods, service. If you're selling goods, whether it's through self-delivery, third party. Again, all of these information is to help you when it comes to any dispute, right? We want to make sure that you don't have any issues if there is any dispute that gets raised. Business representative details are required. Again, think of them as the person who's the authorized signatory of the company or the person who's actually owning the company. They can give in their details. And if this business representative has more than 25% of the business, you might have to check the box and give them more details. Any business owner that has above 25% of ownership needs to be made available. We have branding and public information. Again, think of this like, how do you want your company name to be shown in the bank statement of your customer? So that's what you key in over here. You give in your customer support number so that they can reach out to you if there's anything. And you also have an option to connect your bank account. There are 2 ways in which you can connect your bank account. One is through a financial connection integration where we automatically provide you with an option to verify your bank account. So we again integrate with Stripe Financials for this. So you can choose the bank account. For example, let's say it's Bank of America. I click on continue and I can start keying in the details. Um, if if you're not able to see the list of bank account, if the bank account that you use over here, you can still enter the details manually. However, certain use cases, we might require certain documentation like your bank statements or your voided check. So these are details that is required. So once this is done, your Zoho account is automatically enabled. So I've taken Zoho billing for an account that is already active, enabled as an example. So here you will see Zoho payments that says access Zoho payments. That means it's already been integrated. I'll quickly create an invoice in Zoho billing. Andrew Wilson, choose a product. Let's say they want a black cocktail dress. Zoho payments is automatically selected because I've just integrated within the system. Click on save as a draft. I'm just going to generate a link here rather than sending it across as an email. So there you go. So this is again the client portal view, or the view that anybody sees when you send an invoice. They have an option to click on pay now, and I choose to pay the payment using the credit card. So this is the Zoho payments widget that can be embedded on any other website or wherever Zoho payments is created. So this is what your customers actually see. I'm going to key in a test card over here. As you can see, the name of the card, the email address, the address are all automatically picked up based on the customer details. All I have to do is just give it an email address and click on pay now. And there you go. The invoice is paid automatically. It gets marked, so it's sent over here. Let me refresh the screen, and this would get changed as paid. So I've received a payment and I can view the payment details. It will also tell me what's the processing fee for this transaction. What was the payment card number, whether it's a Visa, MasterCard, whatever it may be, the transaction ID, and where the payments have been posted. For example, let's say I want to initiate a refund. I could initiate the refund directly from Zoho itself within Zoho billing. So let's say I want to do a partial refund of this, of let's say $100 for a $161 transaction. All I have to do is just choose the amount, put the amount that I need to initiate a refund for, and there you go, the refund is initiated. I'll quickly show that in the Zoho Payments dashboard as well shortly, but that's how easy it is to initiate a payment as well. Now, let me show you an invoice that is, or create an invoice, and I'll show you an ACH payment as well. I select, again, another transaction. Okay, I don't think this is, yep. I click on save as a draft, generate a link. And we have the option for choosing a bank account over here. So I choose bank account, key in the details of my account holder name and the email address, and click on pay now. And again, Stripe Financial shows up. This is again used to verify the bank account details. And since this is a test account, the other list of banks are not showing up. But typically, let's say if it's Chase or Wells Fargo or whatever bank it may be, you can click on the bank, you can log in, and basically it'll give you a success or a failure based on the transaction. So once an ACH payment is done, this will get changed as paid, but the invoice will still say as unpaid. The reason is the ACH status takes about a couple of days for us to update because the ACH network takes a few days, right? But how you would identify is for every transaction that has gone through a payment ACH, it would say payment initiated. So right here on the screen next to the invoice. So it would say payment initiated, and in a day or two, it gets changed as payments completed. So that's pretty much how the ACH payment is done. So I've shown you the onboarding process, payment collection, refund, and ACH. And I've not shown you the Zoho Payments dashboard. That's the power of connected ecosystem. We've not gotten into Zoho Payments. We've done everything right from onboarding, collection, refund. The key three elements for any payment gateway. And I've not shown you Zoho Payments, right? And now let me show you Zoho Payments. This is the dashboard for Zoho Payments. So a quick bird's eye view of what's happening within your company, your total transaction, your account balance. Account balances are nothing but the transactions that you've collected minus the fees shows up over here. The next payout is basically the amount that's going to get paid out the next day. And if there's any payouts that were done previously, all of that shows up here as well. All your payment failure shows up along with the reason. In this case, it's either insufficient funds or declined by the issuer. These are the two reasons. So it'll give you a holistic reasoning as to how this would work. All your recent transactions also shows up in the dashboard. We've got customers, the list of customers who you've interacted with. Any customer, you click on them, it'll show the saved payment methods. It could be a card or ACH, whatever it may be. It shows up all of that automatically. One thing I forgot to mention is that you can actually have a card saved for a business. So for example, this particular customer, I have a payment initiated, but I can also charge the customer directly from, okay, this was already on charge. Let me try this. Yeah. So if you see here on Zoho Books, I'm going to manually charge the customer. So any customer who's already saved their card with you, you can manually charge them at your will directly with Zoho Payments. So this is something that I wanted to show you because every customer, they saved card details like your bank account, cards, all of that shows up over here. Payments module, we show all the list of payments, the success, payment, failure, refunds, everything. So if you see here, we've received the 161 payment earlier through Zoho billing. We've also done a refund. All of that shows up here as well. So the refund initiation is automatic and it gets reflected into our dashboard. All the fees that was done for that particular transaction is also shown and the risk rating for that. So every transaction, like I mentioned, has a risk rating and it gives you an overview of what's happening and whether you want to make sure that the money is settled to your bank account or not. And this is the potential fraud alert that I was talking to you about. So this is a successful payment, but it still has a potential fraudulent alert, primarily because the card was reported stolen after the transaction went through. So the customer might have realized that, hey, I did not authorize this transaction. He would have called the bank and told that, hey, listen, I think I've lost my card, and the transaction happened. So we're immediately notified about this and we notify our merchants as well. What you as a business can do is either choose to initiate a refund or make sure that you stop the delivery of your goods or service so that it helps you in mitigating any sort of chargebacks. Payment links is an interesting functionality, right? Because it's a complete no-code solution. All you have to do is just generate a payment link, send it across to anybody through an email, and you can start collecting payments. So if you're not a Zoho Finance customer, you could still generate a payment link and send it across. The payment link is, again, pretty much simple. I create a detail on this, customer phone number, goods, payment. I can set an expiration date for this and I can generate a link as well. I can copy this. Let me paste. So this is again the checkout widget which we have. So it shows you the amount, the credit card, debit card, ACH, whatever payment method your customer wishes to choose, and they can make the payment when you create a payment link as well. So this is pretty much how simple it is. You have multiple ways, like I said, invoices, payment links, client portal, multiple ways through which you can still collect payments. This is the most no-code solution, and you can start collecting payments from day one. If there are any disputes, they show up here as well. Let me zoom in a little. Yeah. If there are any disputes that has happened within your business, they show up here. So you can see I've created multiple disputes. That's on deadline missed, that's on one, that's on lost disputes. You can actually filter them out completely. And if there are any uh, disputes that are under review, you'll also be able to see that. Basically, dispute is the place where you key in all the details that is required for you to win your case against a dispute that your customer has raised. So things like shipping details, supporting documents, whatever it may be, you can add all of them within the portal and get a clarity on it. Moving on to the payouts functionality. So this module gives you an overview of and a list view of entire payments that has been settled to your bank account, right? So I'm going to click on one. So it gives you again a list view and a strip down view of all the payments that this particular settlement included. For example, this was a $3,700 plus settlement, but what did it include, right? Payments of 3 different invoices. And what are the payments? Who are the customer payments that we've received? Everything. Reporting, we have the all transaction report. Basically, everything that happens in Zoho Payments is available in this report. It basically gives you all the payment method type, the fees, the settlement date, available details, whatever it may be. Account balance summary shows you what was your account balance, what was the fees that was charged, how much was settled, all of that details. And if there are any 3DS secure transactions that has happened, or what are the different payment methods split. So as you can see here, most of my customers prefer to choose card payments than ACH. So if you enable or if you disable cards, then your sales are going to go down, right? So this again gives you an overview of what is the preferred payment method your customers choose. Again, settings are typically what you can choose to tweak during the onboarding page that you've given. We've also given you a branding option that will help you to put in your logo so that the checkout widget looks more and branded like your company's brand, right? So this can be done on checkout widgets as well as payment links. You all might ask me, like, can I add other users? Yes, I can. I can add roles and privileges as well. So if you need to add staffs that to handle only disputes and not do anything else, you can have them added. Any sort of roles and privileges that can be done. And when it comes to payment methods, we support all card networks and ACH. You can choose to enable, disable any of the payment methods. So this is a question that they ask, can I just give ACH? Yes, you can. You can disable cards and just give ACH, vice versa, depending on whatever your customers have requested. Risk management is again given an option to the merchants. There are certain businesses that don't want to verify zip code. They just want to verify CVV. So you can switch them off, but we would highly recommend you to keep all 3 enabled so that there is no fraudulent transactions that are going through in your business. Payout preference dates can be selected based on what you prefer. Any changes to your bank account, you can always edit this here. While any change that you make will pause the payouts for security purposes, because we don't want anybody having access to Zoho payments, changing the bank account, then you realizing that, hey, what happened to all my payouts, right? So we pause the payouts. You would have to submit supporting documents, and only after the verification the payouts are done. So that's the kind of security we have, so that nobody makes any changes to your payouts. Notification preferences, again, the payment preferences, refunds, payouts, all of that can be customized for you, for yourself, as well as for your customers. And any documentation that our risk and underwriting team requires shows up over here. So you can upload these directly into the system. So it does not go through our support solution or desk management system. You can upload them right over here, and it is securely transferred to our risk and underwriting team. So this is pretty much the Zoho Payments demo. And what does all this come to, right? Our pricing is completely transparent. it's 2.9 plus 30 cents across all the card networks. So we don't differentiate whether it's MasterCard, Amex, Visa, whatever it may be. It's 2.9% across all the card networks. If it's international cards, there's an additional 1.5%. And if it's ACH, it's 0.8%, but capped at $5. So no matter what the value of the transaction is, it's capped at $5. I'll leave the slide for a minute because I see a few of you taking pictures, but yeah, uh, the costs are completely, there's no hidden cost, and we don't charge you anything else. Everything that requires, like the account updater that I mentioned, everything that I talked about, the fraud mitigation, the CVA, AVS or CVV checks, whatever we do to mitigate the fraud, we don't charge you anything for that. This is the only pricing, nothing more. No subscription cost, no separate pricing for B2B invoices. Because if you look at the other payment gateways, there's a sticker price, but then there's also various different pricing, the hidden charges. We have nothing of that sort. A quick few snippets of customer testimonials because we have thousands of customers who've used in the early access phase. A few snapshots from them uh, because they find the product to be very clean, intuitive. It works seamlessly across all the other Zoho products, and also the pricing, the setup process, all to be very seamlessly done, right? And basically helped a lot of businesses to streamline their payment collections. So these are a few things which we've seen from customers, and we wanted to bring it out over here. Given that most of you are new to Zoho Payments, definitely request you to try them out. It'll be available on the LHS side of any of your finance apps. Even if you don't have a finance app, you can just go into zoho.com/payments and you can just sign up or sign into Zoho Payments as well. So quick recap. Zoho Payments supports cards and ACH. We have 135 plus currencies that we support. The onboarding experience is completely hassle-free. As you can see, it's completely embedded within the Zoho's ecosystem, so you don't have to switch between multiple apps. The checkout is optimized. It's branded as per your theme that you require. We have a very robust dispute management system where we help you and give you the option for managing all the disputes in one single place. Faster settlements, yes. Same-day settlements, instant settlements, and the default, which is T+2 and T+4. Better fraud management, like I showed you, which shows your fraudulent alerts or risk assessments. And of course, the automated reconciliation, right from code to cash. So that's pretty much what Zoho Payments is all about. So I'm going to end the session here, open for any questions that you have. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, yes.